was concluded successfully, and so the canvassing board has signed off on the following statement that the Brevard County Canvassing Board conducted the logic and accuracy test for precinct and early voting equipment at 9 a.m. Friday, October 14th, in preparation of the 2022 general election. The tabulation devices were tested and no anomalies occurred. Canvassing board concluded the test with satisfactory evaluation. We'll be doing the same kind of a statement, hopefully, this afternoon when we test the central panel.
All right, so public comment. First one that I have is Rich Nake. Mr. Nake.
Congratulations, Tim, on your SOE appointment by our Governor DeSantis. I have a few questions. At the polling place for mail ballots, will the DS200 machines that we see here, will they accept a mail ballot if somebody put it into the machine?
The ballots are all the same, but the poll workers are instructed to not let them take a mail ballot.
If it got past the poll worker, would it be accepted and tabulated?
Then, well, technically, if you fed it through, yes, but the ballot box inspectors are also trained. The mail ballots have the letters MB in the upper right-hand corner, so they would be looking for that to see where the election day ballots are.
Okay, but it will scan. On the DS200, if there's an extraneous mark, like a pen mark somewhere outside, how sensitive are the machines to reject that ballot?
It'll only reject it if it goes through an oval or a timing mark. So you could write a happy face in an open blank space and it won't affect it. Only if it goes through a timing mark or an oval. It's very sensitive. We see it all the time where the tiniest of little pen drops where they are thinking about the candidate who they want to vote for, they touch their pen on it, and then they go to something else. It will think that that's a potential overvote or an unclear.
But if it's outside in a clear area,
doesn't nothing that has anything to do.
So if a ballot, a mail ballot, has put void on it or canceled, it could still go through even though it's written on there void.
Like I said, anything that's unless it's through a timing mark or through an oval.
Can we get a copy of the process today that you guys did?
Sure. I have here's the testing plan here. I'd be more than happy to do that.
Okay, great. Does the DS200 communicate directly to the SOE office here?
Yes, only when we transmit the results.
Does it go through the internet at all?
It doesn't go through the internet, but aside from that, because of cybersecurity reasons, I can't go into the details of how that does it.
Are you able to demonstrate for us as part of this LNA a rejection of a ballot with extraneous marks on it?
Well, the test has been concluded already, so no, but we did have it rejecting blanks and overvote ballots. But again, it would have to be, we'd already closed the machines and concluded the test.
Could that be something that's included next time?
We can certainly take that into consideration.
You're going to see that with real ballots next time.
Yes. Yeah, we'll see that. We'll see that on plenty of mail ballots. If you come to the duplication process, you'll see plenty of mail ballots that don't go through the scanners because somebody made an extraneous mark on the ballot.
Okay. As far as the EVID system, that King EVID, how often does it update to this office here?
Real time. So if you check in at a polling place, I'll know within 30 seconds.
Okay, so it does each individual one of them. Okay, that's very helpful.
Thank you.
All right, next one is Julie Hine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so very much. My first question is in regard to the DS200, and I think you mostly answered it with Rich. And the transmission only occurs at the very end of the early voting period,
At the end, and only after the polls are closed and the tape
after the
prints.
polls are
Yes.
closed. No time.
No, nothing
in between. Thank you very much. And then on election day, only at the end.
Well, it's only on election day. The early voting machines aren't transmitted at all. We don't close the polls until the very last day, but they don't print any results or close anything because that would be before 7
They do that
p.m.
on election day.
On election day, we close
Here?
the polls, transmit the results.
For the early voting machines, are they brought back here?
Yes, the
then?
early voting sticks are brought back here and they're manually loaded into here. They're not transmitted.
Okay, so there's never on early voting any transmission
No.
from the machines.
No, it would be too complicated. It's because you have every precinct, every ballot style.
Right.
It wouldn't be able to transmit anything like that because it's such a voluminous amount of complicated individual buckets
Okay.
per precinct, for 171 precincts. And
So my understanding would be from each of the early voting machines, you get a thumb drive, and you don't get any printouts until election day.
So when we bring the results in and we look at the early voting results, they're integrated with all the rest of the results.
Okay, so that all happens together on election day.
Well, at the
At the end of
early
the
voting,
day.
at the end of the day, we bring those results in beforehand so that they're ready to post at 7 o'clock on election day.
On election
With the mail ballots tabulated so far.
Okay, so as far as transmission from the machines, the only time that there is electronic transmission from the machines to the SOE's office is going to be on election night.
Yes, after 7 o'clock, or after the last
polls.
voter votes.
After polls. Okay, and then, do you use the same machine at the same precinct every time?
Mostly, unless we swap the machine out for any kind of maintenance or so forth, but generally, yes.
Okay, and then the other question I had is from someone that's doing poll watcher training. Would it be a good idea for poll watchers to ask the clerk about 15 minutes in advance that they're gonna wanna see the end of day tallies, or is that just gonna be, if there's a poll watcher there, they're probably gonna be looking for those end of day counts?
Well, the poll watcher position is from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Right.
The poll closing process is just open to any observer, so it doesn't, you don't have to be a poll watcher to
be
observe the
that.
closing process, no.
Okay, so then the clerk pretty much knows that if there's a person there
Absolutely,
observing, they're
yeah.
gonna be wanting to do that. Okay, thank you very much. And then the other thing I had was on overvotes and undervotes. Here, they were rejected. What happens with mail-in ballots?
Same thing. So
Okay.
I'll just answer that quickly. Mail ballots, they are kicked out, they are not tabulated,
Okay.
and then they are reviewed. A lot of times they're because mail ballot, the voter will scratch out saying one vote and say, no, I want this one instead.
Okay.
That will be part of the duplication process.
Okay.
Anything where the voter's intent is not 100%
Clear.
clear, then it comes before the canvassing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Bernice McInnes.
Oh, she left.
I'm sorry,
left.
She left?
Yeah.
Okay.
Susan Connolly.
She left.
She left. Lori Lefevre.
Okay, my question is, how many mail ballots were sent out this year, do you know?
I don't have my stat report from yesterday, but it was, give me 1 second, over 140,000, I believe it is.
And of those, are those all requested, or are they just sent out?
Florida law requires, you must request a ballot to get one. We can't send ballots to anybody who hasn't requested.
Okay, they requested that this
Yes.
year.
They requested it within the last general election cycle. So if somebody requested it, let's say for the 2020 presidential preference primary, they would be on the list for the next 2 general cycles, and so they would automatically get one. Now that's going to change this year with the new House Bill 524, where all mail ballot requests will be wiped out and everybody will have to request a new.
Okay, so how are they checked when they come in? Or actually, how many actually get returned to the post office?
What do you mean by
Like,
return?
if they're not deliverable, let's say.
Oh, undeliverable ballots. I don't know what our number is. I think we had a little over 5,000 in the primary election, and anything that comes back undeliverable in the primary gets canceled for the general election, so they don't get
Oh,
another
okay.
mail. Yep.
5,704.
I know Dan would know the number.
So this meeting, I got a hard time finding it online. It's not like right out there. No location was listed or anything, so I'm just wondering if you could in the future, like maybe put it on the front page when it's like a week out or whatever.
Sure, we can
And
certainly take that.
add the location to it, so it's more,
It's on the legal notice page, and then under news and notices, under legal notices, it's there. But if we need to do
well,
something
on
more
the
prominently,
calendar.
I'm
and-
happy.
And there's no details. So, and it doesn't, right? We had a hard time
No
finding it.
filming. No filming.
So,
It's such
Okay.
a kind of a public meeting.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Okay. And you just a minute ago mentioned ballot styles. How many ballot styles? I mean,
So
what do
we
you-
do ballot styles by precinct, so technically there's 171, but if you count unique combinations of styles, I think it was 35 unique styles. I don't know exactly now, I think it's 35 or 36.
And what makes them different from each other? What do you mean by styles?
The combination of races on the ballot, so
Oh.
you have, you know,
So it's
some of
not
them
the
have,
form itself, the paper itself.
no, nothing's different about that, it's the combination of races.
Okay, so styles is the information basically. That's
Yeah, so
all.
some have Senate, House, Senate District 8, some have 19, some have a combination of County Commission 2, 4, so there's all kinds of combinations.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Linda Notaro.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, I wanted to ask about Connect, because that's been a hot item lately. And we did see the invoice that we use that here. So I wanted to know, because I've been hearing a lot of talk about this information has been shown to be on the Chinese server. So I wanted to get your response and if you could explain it, please.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
So, yes, Brevard County used Connect Poll Chief, one of their products. We use the Poll Asset Management System, which was an inventory and supply tracking system. We never used the poll worker management system. No poll workers' information was ever loaded. We were never licensed or paid for that product. As I've seen multiple copies of all of our emails and contracts with To the Vote, and I'm more than happy to dispel any rumors about that. We never had any voter or any poll worker personally identify of any kind anywhere on their systems. All we had was check in, check out of equipment and supplies, and that's all we used it for, which is evident on the
Okay.
contract that we signed.
Because I was gonna say, there's really no way to check, is there? How would you check?
Well, it's a cloud-based system, so it
Okay.
isn't a software that's installed on ours. So we only loaded what we chose to load on the inventory system.
On the
So,
inventory system?
Yes, that's all.
Okay, all right, thank you.
No,
That's all I
it's a
have.
great question because I'm getting a lot of questions, and I was
Yeah.
hoping somebody would bring it so I could address it in the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right,
Could you just mention when that contract ended?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thank you.
Oh.
I probably like that. We stopped using it over a year ago. So we are not currently using Poll Chief. We have switched to another software company called EasyVote. I think they're based in Woodstock, Georgia. So we had switched over a year ago before any of the news of this came out.
What year did you start using them?
I think it was 2014.
So
Was
you
that-
used them every year up until?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
all right, Sandra Sullivan.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Last time I was here, I was asked about the last time the software was updated on these machines, so that was 2 years. Is there any change in that? Okay. Does it concern you at all that with cloud-based software that data is in China, whether it's even equipment but not people, but in that cloud base, would that change how you do select software in the future? For example, I'll finish real quick. When I wanted to test and see how the new HB 524 and see if that was reflected, so I did a vote by mail. And my confirmation came from BR Systems, so that's cloud-based. So our data, when we request vote by mail, is presumably cloud-based.
Well, it's the vendor that manages our voter registration
so
systems
that
and.
as a voter, that kind of concerns me that it's not housed on a local server. So let's just say that.
Okay.
Especially when we find out, especially you see data on a Chinese server, whether not people data, but equipment data, it's still in China. So my third question is at the canvassing board meeting, I confirmed that SOE does not verify that a ballot in a vote by mail envelope matches the voter, meaning somebody in a very contested school board race, somebody in District 2 could request multiple ballots, vote in person, give those ballots to somebody in District 4, they put them in the ballot, we don't check that. So last time we were here, I guess a question was asked, and Lori Scott said, I'm not a lawyer, I can't answer that. And we found out afterwards, there's a lawyer here, and she could have deferred the question to him, so here's my question. Given that it's been confirmed that this November election will not verify that the ballot in the envelope for vote by mail will not be verified to match the voter, can you please provide the reference to federal law that you feel prohibits SOE from doing this verification and a legal opinion of the attorney at SOE that could be provided?
I emailed you 3 days ago with that answer.
Okay, could you do it on the public record here? Because
Sure,
I didn't
it's,
see the email.
the statute is, hang on a second.
Statute or federal law?
It's actually, Florida statute,
Okay.
so. Give me 1 second, please. I don't have my email in front of me here, just bear with me.
I do want to thank you. You know, we had asked, you know, as a candidate doing,
While I'm looking, I'm not gonna.
okay, so as a candidate, while we were doing inspection of signature verification, I'm very appreciative that you're now allowing that process to identify records that, and my understanding is you'll be looking at them and making it part of the process for the canvassing board. So thank you very much for
You're
that.
very welcome.
That change. If you don't mind answering on that, was that due to legally, you know, that is
Well, when
per state statute, or?
Nothing changed legally. You know, in the last election, we had the form that you, that the observer submitted. We did review those. Honestly, we just changed the form and we wanted to make it more formalized. Again, that primary was our first election with that new process. So, you know, again, we'll be doing that second level review. If there's anything where you've indicated the voter ID where you think that the signature doesn't match, that'll go to a second level review. If our staff thinks, no, we think the signature matches, it'll come before the canvassing board. And then
So
we'll-
my question was though, that having provided you a state statute that indicated that this was allowable, do you agree with that now, or are you still saying that there's no legal requirement, you did it out of, you know, just being?
No, it
helpful?
is still the assertion of us and the board that there's not a legal framework for challenging a signature on a vote by mail ballot. It's a review and inspect. And that's
Okay.
been, and so that is our position
Okay,
on that.
thank you. Thank you
And
for
to
your
answer your
position
question,
on that.
the statute was 10168 subsection 2D that states specifically the mailing envelopes shall be opened and the secrecy envelopes shall be mixed so as to make it impossible to determine which secrecy envelope came out of which signed mail envelope. That's Florida statute 10162.
So I'll just go. I'll send you a follow-up. I'll still be requesting a legal opinion from your attorney on that.
That's
because
our
I was
legal
hoping to-
opinion.
and
That is
okay.
our legal
I
opinion.
would like to have it from your attorney. Thank you.
All right, Judy Trandle.
Hi there.
Good morning.
This is my first time doing this, so I might be a little nervous. My question and curiosity is the actual paper that the ballots are printed on. Are the paper ballots that both at the polls and paper ballots that are sent out, are they on any type of a secure counterfeit proof paper? And another thing that goes along with that is, do all counties get their paper that has the ballots printed on from the same vendor? Or is everybody just whoever they choose?
So the answer to the first question is no. There's not like a bank check stop or anything like that. It's just each manufacturer has certain paper specifications that they recommend, like weight of the paper and so forth like that. But the systems, the way they're certified, are not certified in Florida to use any kind of special paper with like holograph and nothing like that. No. And as far as where there's a multitude of vendors where that other SOEs get paper from, I don't know where other SOEs do. Obviously, we get our paper. Our election day ballots are printed by one vendor, and we have another vendor who prints our mail ballot mail ballot paper.
So how, when the tabulators are tabulating, how can they recognize that this is not a paper ballot from this particular,
Well, the timing marks would have to be printed exactly the same, but again, you're talking about bringing a ballot in from outside, where we have ballot box inspectors. We know that this election, everybody has 2 ballots, and so, you know, they have a card A and a card B because it's a 2-page ballot, and so all of that is being observed. They're given 2 ballots. They are expected to cast 2 ballots in the machines.
okay, and then when they mail them in, I guess my biggest concern, since the majority of fraud narrows down to paper ballots, mail-in ballots. Is there some reason why paper ballots cannot be put on counterfeit-proof paper? And tabulators be able, when you put a ballot through the tabulator, if it's a counterfeit paper ballot, that tabulator is able to spit it out. It just seems to me like this is so important.
Well, if you had extra ballots, your reconciliation numbers would be off. As far as whether that's capable, I don't know the answer to that. That would be, we're required to use a voting system certified by the Florida Division of Elections and the Department of State. So we are required to use, and there's only 2 certified vendors in Florida that we can use.
2 certified vendors to use?
Yes, ESNS and Dominion, we use ESNS.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
By Wayne Twitty.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, the first question is about the vote by mail ballots. Will you allow poll watchers to watch the counting of the vote by mail ballots?
The canvassing process is open to the public. It's on our legal notice of when we will be opening and removing ballots and when we count ballots.
You do that a single time, or
No, we do that ongoing. We'll start that process. One of the last things that we'll be doing is the board will be giving approval to begin the canvassing of ballots, and we'll start that on Monday.
Okay, you do that the same time every day, or?
We have it. Yeah, we have it set on our legal notice that has all of the times that we start that process.
Okay. My next question, I think we've already touched upon it, but internet connectivity or any network, private or public connectivity, there's no way that you can plug something into these machines that will allow any kind of connectivity at any point in
No,
time?
not that I'm aware of. No.
If the legislature decided to go by hand count, no electronic equipment, how much time would it take your organization to shift over to that?
I have no idea. It would take an eternity. It was my long to short answer. But that would require change to 101-5604, which
Right.
requires us to use a voting machine.
Okay, but it would take more than just one election cycle to get to that point, you're saying?
To get to
To be able to go from where you are today with the electronic to go non-electronic, it would take more than one.
it would be a
cycle?
dramatic change in elections in Florida. I don't know the answer to the question. I mean, we're the 10th largest county, so we would be here for quite a long time.
Okay. I also wanted to ask about the Uocava votes. Where can I find the process of how you send those out, and then how you go about counting those ballots?
They go out 45 days prior to the election. They're mailed just like any other ballot goes. Some voters that are overseas who qualified, they can get their ballots via email. So the ballot will be emailed to them along with this copy of a certificate envelope, and they're allowed by law to fax that back to us.
Okay, so they can fax it back to you. Can they email
No.
it back to you? Okay.
No.
Last question about the drop boxes. I know you only have a few of them at particular offices. Are they monitored video 24/7?
They're manned in person. So we don't have 24/7 drop boxes. They are inside of our administrative offices during business hours. We keep it open till 6, but if it is in our lobbies, and technically they're called secure ballot intake stations now. And then early voting, again, they're monitored all the time. So there's always a physical person. Trust me, if not, it's a $25,000 fine to me.
Okay, good deal. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's all that I have. Anything else?
Tim, could you state the statute
I'm sorry. Delete.
That's what it was.
Okay.
The statute for the machine requirement by state?
101-5604. You're welcome.
Right.
So, with the board's permission, we'll begin canvassing ballots, starting on Monday. With the process of opening and bringing.
We're gonna do that now or just after?
Actually, we can do it, I think that's this afternoon, isn't it? Yes, I apologize.
All right.
I gotta handle it.
All right, any other business for the canvassing board for this morning? Oh, hold on.
I
One
gotta
last.
ask the judge, did your father ever cash the check?
That was my father-in-law. No, he sent it back. All right, we will, there's no other business. We will adjourn until this afternoon.
2 o'clock.
At, 2 o'clock, all right, and we'll finish up with the other machines.
Yep.
All right. Thank you all very much.
See everybody at 2?
Yeah, there was never any
Yes.
explanation as to how that mistake occurred.
I just